Hello everybody, and this tank here is a 20-gallon long, tucked away on the floor at the bottom of one of my 20 racks in the closet area of my shrimp room. And look at this moss wonderland now. When I say this shrimp line, the blue jellies, my blue jelly shrimp line, might possibly be one of the very best shrimp lines in the world now. I'm not saying the shrimp individually are the best in the world, but as far as the consistency and the breeding true, these guys can always blow my mind now. I mean, if they're your favorite shrimp, that's a matter of opinion, I think. But as far as breeding true, you couldn't ask for anything more, and you guys will see what I'm talking about here shortly. So first thing we got to do is manage this moss, and let me tell you, there was a ton of moss in there. That's just a temp controller heater probe. So the heaters in here, I do have a heater in a lot of my shrimp tanks, but the temp controller is only set at 70 or 72, so they just kick on in the winter. And with this tank being on the floor, it gets pretty cold in here in the winter, so I keep heaters in here and I just have them set at 70, 72. So there we go, we're pulling out the moss. We got to be careful to shake all the little baby shrimpies off. We don't want to hurt them, we don't want to crush anyone, so we're super careful, and this took a pretty long time. This tank was packed full of moss. This tank always grows moss really good. So I'm just slowly going through this right side here, slowly pulling it apart, trying to get it all without hurting any shrimp. It's like there's not one speck of algae in any of this. This is perfectly clean, pure moss, and you can see there's quite a few shrimp. I know when I first pulled this all out, I was like, there might not be that many in there, but when you get to looking closer, there's lots. There's hundreds and hundreds in here. So, the thing that amazes me with this tank the most, look at all these over here on the right side, is this tank was started, I believe, in October, so we're looking at, it's about 8 months ago, 9 months ago or so, and literally, I've not done anything other than change the water every week and put food in it every day. I've not touched a shrimp. I've not done anything to that effect. So there's been no culling, there's been no moss management. This is just what nature has done. I've changed, like I said, I change the water and I feed every day, but other than that, it's all Mother Nature. There, look at that. You can see the filter. It's doing good. It's one of my DIY PVC air powered sponge filters here, and I got the brick, and the brick is just there to hold it in place. And now finally we get all the moss out. That took quite a while in real time. So look at this. Oh my freaking god, look at all these beautiful little light sky blue little jewels in here. And this is a good sign of a strong, healthy colony. You see buried ones, you see little babies, you see shrimp of all ages. When you see shrimp of all ages, you know your colony is in top-notch form. So this is always interesting when, like I said, I haven't really been able to see the bottom of this tank in probably 3 months, and I haven't done anything to it other than feed it and change the water every week. So as you can tell, I mean, the shrimp in here are magnificent. I mean, and here's what the tank is with all the moss out. Quite a transformation. Moss wonderland to that. Alright, time for the time lapse. You guys have been around here a while, know the routine. I put in some algae wafers and that draws them all out in one area. And then we can see what we've got here. Let's see, we got a lot of them out. And if you look really closely, the only culls I ever find in here is little red dots on the head. And my blue jelly line, I mean, and you gotta look super hard, but man, these guys are doing so good. Look at all of them. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's let them gather up some more. See how many more are in here. I think this time lapse total was covered something like an hour and 20 minutes. And I trimmed some of it out. So, but look at all of it. This tank don't even really have that many snails in it considering. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so let's take a super close look at the shrimp we've got in here. And look at all the little babies. Look at how good these guys look. These blue jellies, I mean, my favorite as a breeder. These are my favorite line because, you know, some lines you're taking out a good percentage of the ones you're breeding out just to make them good. These guys, look at this. Not a single shrimp has been removed in 8 or 9 months. This is unreal. I mean, look at the consistency here. It's truly amazing. And you stop to think, when it comes to Neos and having to cull all the time, these guys, wow. Look at all the little babies. This is, I mean, I really didn't know what to expect, and like, since I couldn't see that many shrimp in here because of all the moss, I really didn't know if there's that many in here. I knew the last time I could really see them good, there was getting to be quite a few, and that was like 3 or 4 months ago. And then work had been really crazy, and so this tank was just kind of like, all right, this tank's doing its thing. It's tucked away down here on the floor. Here's a top view, looking down. Look at him. Wow. I think you can tell I like my blue jellies. Man. Alright, so let's get down to business here and take a good look. So I think by this point I've taken out like 3 or 4 shrimp. And I could not really see it with the naked eye. I had to use my camera and zoom in to find bad ones, because when you're just looking at it from the distance, you can't see it. You just can't see the bad ones. That's how good they are. So when I get really zoomed in and I look super close, this is what I'm doing here. I'm using the camera to try to find a couple more bad ones. And all you're looking for, all I ever get, is the ones with little tiny red dots. I've had guys ask me, are your blue jellies, do they breed true? Every time I've got blue jellies, they all come out red or reallys or whatever. And that's because blue jellies and reds are very closely related. Red reallys and blue jellies and red cherries, they are all very, very closely related. But there's one right there. Right there. You can see the little red dots right there between his eyeballs. That is what, that's, oh my god, that's a horrible shrimp. We gotta get this thing out of here. I mean, that's as bad as they get in here. It blows my mind how good this line is. And it's always been this way, pretty much since I've had it. I did have to cull a little bit more out when I first got them, but here lately, I mean, it's my 40 gallon that has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And I might take out 10 or 15 shrimp a year. I've only ever pulled out like one. Like, what in the heck is that thing? Look at all that moss pulled out. And that'll be available on the website, Pilomoss on LiQWYD.com. And we got to get some more moss for the tank to put back in the tank. So there's another blue jelly tank. We don't want to get moss from a different kind of shrimp tank. So I got moss from another blue jelly tank. Now we're taking one last look before we close it out. And I found one more. Look at that. Right there, the little tip of his nose is red. So we're going to get this guy out. And I think we got a little friend on accident, but that's alright, because when you're just trying to get one shrimp and a whole mess of them like that, you really don't want to have to mess with taking the one out and losing the one you're after. So that's it. Let's put, like I said, I think I got 4 or 5 out of that whole tank, and that was one of the worst ones there at the end. So there you have it. I tried to make a video about blue jelly culling, but there wasn't really any shrimp to cull. Thank you guys for watching. These guys are awesome. Bye.